with the Padlet. Let's see if we can do this. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back from spring break. 7 minutes late, but let's see if we can wake this thing up. Let's try to do this Padlet by showing you. Maybe just... Confused. Wake up, dude. Okay, I don't know. Speaker works. All right, just go to this Padlet. I don't know, it's just, let me poke some buttons. This is today's class, I'll just... How was your spring break? Tell me what you did. Let me wake this guy up. It won't be like this all day, don't worry. Yeah, no problem. Oh. Today's gonna be like this all day. I just walk around the classroom and just do this. Okay. So tell me about your spring break. Tell me what you did. All the fun things. And then let me figure out why this doesn't want to turn on. Break it or something. Morning. No, just punching things doesn't work. Finish? Hold on, give me this. Yeah. Okay. Morning. Angel, help me. Hi, Angel. This is Bob in BGS 148. This thing won't wake up this morning. Can you come by and just, I don't know what you do, your magic. All right. Sorry. Thank you. Bye. I guess it's sleeping for spring break. Nothing is working today. Oh, okay. Write a long story. Use past tenses. We'll let Angel do his magic. You finished? What's wrong? Didn't work? Oh, then let me know. Use your voice. Okay. Don't wait. Gotta use our voices. All right. He's gonna come and it's gonna work. I know it. That's how it always works. Just... Can't stop the fire. Start writing a lot. Good. Hey, Angel. No, I just been tapping and tapping. I know when you're here, it's just gonna work, and then you're gonna say, "Well, duh." Just I've been here since like 8:45, so I just
Okay. So time is not the issue.
no. I've been furiously pressing. Let's see the trick.
So
There's a magic trick.
there is, but you
Oh.
never saw this.
Oh, I don't even know what you're doing.
So this is one way of like
This is-
kind of troubleshooting.
Okay. Of course. Restart. Did you press the power button?
Yeah. You just disconnect the whole thing.
Okay. So that's PoE, huh? Power over Ethernet?
Yes.
Nice. I'm a nerd. I usually do my own troubleshooting. I used to work classroom management too
Okay.
at UCI. But yeah, just
The
is
little
there
things, the little tricks.
right? But is there just a way to override and just like turn that guy
Turn
on?
it off?
He's already on, right? No.
I have a remote
Oh.
upstairs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because then this controls everything, so this
Okay.
directs the signal up there.
Right.
So just turning on the projector will just display a blue screen instead of what speed.
Okay. So this is the intermediary. This is the.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take 20 minutes to warm up.
No, it usually is like
Just like the sleep mode is.
7 minutes.
No, really? Is it really that like preposterously slow? No, sorry. It's the spring break. I mean, it was on holiday.
I thought I was gonna have more calls.
Okay.
Morning, but
I wish it was Cesar Chavez Day today.
I know that's next week.
I know.
Looking forward to that. Another long weekend.
I can't believe the spring break.
So what?
I can't believe the spring semester. You're under 18? You're 17? Oh, okay. Okay. And you can drive? Okay. But can you drive? You know, like how many? Yeah, yeah. Do you know how? Okay, good. Anybody want to help him? We can. Yeah, okay, you can show him how to drive. Thank you. Nareshte, how about you? How was your spring break? No rules. For Easter. Just Hapsi. The eight, the seven S's onto the egg. So similar. I always think like these things. Thank you. Lentils, little lentil beans. Okay, good protein. Yeah, she has twins. Is it like Easter eggs then? Like,
This is half same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'll look it up. Marjorie, how was your spring break? You think? A lot of barbecues. Of course. That's okay. Okay. Friday. That's Friday. Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, how do you see the difference? Like the culture, is it similar to your own? Is it okay? Okay. So there's some similar food always connects people. It's like the first thing they say. Nice. Good. Susanna, how about you? How was your spring break? Where did you go? Wow. Okay. To pick you up? Oh, yeah. Well, there was a lot of canceled flights this week, right? Oh, I hate that. Ah, Yeah, it's very green, right? Yeah. I've never been to South Carolina, but North Carolina is just when you fly in, it's just covered with trees. That's all you see is green, green, green. Good, and you have a nice tan now too, like a tan here. Yeah, healthy, healthy tan. Good. Uh, Wilson, how are you? How was your swing break? Good. Okay. Happy Nowruz. Stephanie, how are you? How was your spring break? Couple books. Watching hockey? Okay. Yeah. Have you watched hockey? It's like the most violent thing. Yeah, they just punch each other. They grab each other's shirts and they just do this. It's like dancing almost though. They're like, yeah, it's normal. They just let them. They just like go ahead, you know. They throw down their gloves. Okay, what's your team? Okay, Mighty Ducks. Okay, good. Thank you, Carrie. How are you? England. Okay. No trips. You had a staycation. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Marlene, what about you? How was your spring break? Just at your house. Staycation. Good. Last one, Jason.
Brother-in-law job trip, so I to stay to take care of my nephews.
Okay.
The free time I watching this series. It's on Apple. It's about a coach that goes to
So, Ted Lasso, the soccer, goes to England to become a soccer coach. Football, sorry, football. I don't use the word soccer. Cool. Is it good? You like it?
yeah, it's funny.
Okay.
Just go through the season.
Oh, nice. Okay. I have to finish the third season, but Ted Lasso, really good show. It's on Apple, but you can find it wherever. All right. So sorry. Sorry about the delay today. Thank you. And yeah, today is week 10. I call this week 10. I don't know. We skipped spring break. So we have what, 8 more weeks, and then we'll have some kind of final examination. I will let you know when I figure it all out. Okay. It was a busy week for me. We talked about spring break. I went to Lake Tahoe to do some snowboarding. This is my friend Lina. We met in 2019 in Turkey. So she's from America, but we were both on the same program teaching English in Turkey. And Turkey also has a lot of protest because their president did some bad things. So the entire country seems like it's just maybe the whole world seems like it's on fire. That's why I was listening to the Bruce Springsteen song. But yeah, we've known each other since 2019. This is her first year skiing, so she's never skied before. Um, so it was really nice, and she's very tall. And it was like there was a winter storm, okay? But the good thing, fortunately, uh, we had put on the chains before we started, and so you don't have to stop and put on the chains. Have you ever had to do this?
Yes.
Okay. It's not fun. it oh, good. Yes. I guess I was the husband. My friend just said she had to turn the wheel. I said, turn the wheel to the left. She's like, no, to the left. It's awful. It's not fun, but it was beautiful. Lots of snow. I went to a conference this last week. It was in what's it called? In Long Beach. It was from Tuesday to Friday. It was about teaching English, my profession. So this is Padlet. This is my favorite tool. And I got to meet some of my heroes that like make Padlet. And I got to tell them I want them to make some new things for Padlet. So that was really fun. So her name is Ancho. And this is very interesting. I hadn't seen her since the first time we met was in 2018. And I haven't seen her since like 2019. But when I met her, she wanted to like do a presentation, so she asked me for advice, and I just gave her my proposal, the paper I wrote, to be a presenter at this conference. And then she did it, and she was successful. And then like this is 2019, she returned from India to do a presentation. This is in 2019. And then I saw her again. It was a surprise. She was just like, Mr. Bob, it's wonderful. And so, yeah, it was really nice. So in this conference, I get to see all of my old friends. Some people I had never met before. I met him online, but we never met in person. So I've known him since 2019, but just online. And it's the first time we got to meet. So that's Joe. She was in my program, and she was like, it's so nice to meet you finally. But everything we do now is online. So she's from Hawaii. Her name is Robbie. And then another lady that I worked with online, I did a presentation for TESOL. Our organization is called TESOL, and we're trying to fight so that we can teach English. There's a lot of problems with the government and education now. But TESOL means teaching English to speakers of other languages. It's a long name. That's what I got my master's in. So that's Gracie. And we had worked together. I had gone on to Zoom meetings, but I had never met her. So this is, the first time I had met her in person. It was really nice. And yes, Happy Nowruz. Got to the thing. I hope the New Year's is wonderful, a time of joy and growth for everyone. And yeah, Nowruz also is my sister's birthday. It's always my sister's birthday is March 20. That's the first day of spring, right? It's the spring equinox. So yeah, I get to celebrate my sister, and I get to celebrate with you guys. All right, let's get to work. If you can open up your book, your focus on grammar, let's finish up modals of necessity. We're going to talk about these modals. We did a little bit last time. Let's do some more. Whoops. Nope. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and check the reading, check the essentials. So we talked about these. Should. Okay, we did a little bit. I want you just to do page 59. Just go through the book. And then we'll finish with 61 for today. Okay, we're not going to do the whole thing. I think this is a modal that's pretty easy, but we're going to talk about it in the reading. Okay, so about Animal Farm. We'll talk about what people should do, what animals must do, things like that, to talk about Animal Farm. So go ahead, I'll give you some time. Any questions about any of the modals, how we can use them? Page 55 is where the notes begin. So we're on Unit 4. We're going to try to move quickly, do some more of this book without finishing everything. But I'll give you the answers, okay, to the units if you want to check the answers, if you have any questions about any of these. And I guess the biggest, you guys know this. No, we talked about this. Okay, so if you can do page 59, 50, or 60 and 61, we'll read that together, and then we'll take a break. Can't start the fire. Let's discover the grammar together.
This one, the expectation. How do you say that? You are not.
You are not supposed to. You were not supposed to. You are supposed to.
But you are to. That's another. You are to take.
You were supposed to take a gift. You're supposed to do something.
But this is another way to do it, no?
You are supposed. Right. So that's the present version.
You are to.
Yeah.
This sounds so weird.
Supposed to is.
With the suppose, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that, but the other one.
You are to.
You are to take.
Yeah. And it means the same thing. It's just they cut out.
You are not to.
Okay. Expectations. Oh. Where's that box? There it is. So Jason had a question about expectations. So you are supposed to. You are to. Yeah, and it's just a shortened version, so they cut it out. You are to take a gift. Can mean the same thing as you're supposed to take a gift. And you were to take a gift means the same thing as supposed to. You just cut it out. I think it's just a shortcut. Like, I don't use this very often. You were to take a gift. I usually just say you were supposed to. This one? You were to take a gift. It basically is the same thing. They just removed this. You were to do something. You were to do your homework last night, right? You were to bring food to the party. I don't know. I don't use it. I always say you're supposed to. I think it has the same meaning. It's just English speakers like to just shorten lots of things. But yeah, somebody says you are to do something. I would say it's not like a command, right? If I was commanding you, I would just say, do this, bring a gift, right? That's like 100%. It's a direct command. But I think when you say you are to take a gift, you're giving kind of a suggestion, stronger than a suggestion. It's an expectation. You are not to do this. You were not to do this. You were supposed to do this. You were not to. It is kind of weird, huh? There's a lot of English that sounds weird. Let's check. What is the best way to check? You are to. What happens when you use English? What's the weird thing that I've been using? Get yarn. Does this work? All right. Right.
Magic E at the end, something like that.
Yeah, magic E. Okay. I how old is your nephew? Yeah. 5. Okay. So this is when students start learning in America this pronunciation and spelling and this magic E. Right. And you've taken a pronunciation class here yet? No. Okay. Yeah. What is? I mean, I always use the word mic. No, that's not a good example. I don't like the word make. Do you guys know the magic E rule? Okay, so the rule is there's 2 rules. If there's 2 vowels, okay, this one gets the what, Marjorie? The main sound. Which one? The long vowel sound. What is the long vowel sounds? A, like good. A, right? Like A, long. A is equals the name of the letter of the vowel. So like, what is the long vowel sound for E? E, right? What is the long vowel for I? I. O and U, right? So like when we see the word C, it has 2 vowels. E, right? How about this word? Y. So the first one gets the long vowel sound. Okay. Um, like another word would be uh, no. There's so many things. Okay. Um, the other rule would be if there's a vowel, a consonant, and then the letter E. This also takes the long vowel sound. Okay. So this would be make, right? Um, what's another? This word. So the long vowel sound for I is I, right? Okay. Versus what is this? There's no E, bit, right? So this is like the short vowel sound. So long vowel is A, E, I, O, U. short vowel is a. Oh, sorry. A, e, I, ah, and okay. So we have long vowel, short vowel. If it doesn't have like double vowel here, or it doesn't have this magic E, that's what we call it in elementary school. We still use this, okay? If it doesn't have it, it's going to be one of these short vowel sounds. So long vowel is A, E, I, O, U, right? So another word I always like to talk about in this day and age is the word hope, right? So we have a vowel and then we have E. There's a consonant. Sorry, that's the symbols I use. What do rabbits do? Hop. So this is the right? So it's going to be the short vowel. There's no magic E. This doesn't work. Sometimes, this is the thing about English. It just sometimes doesn't work. What is that word? Hoop. What is that long vowel sound? It's going to be U. Right? Hoop. Huh. I never get this. Um, take my pronunciation class. There's a lot of rules. But 80% of these, it usually works 80% of the time. Okay. The other 20% of the time, they're words from like French, from Spanish. So one of the most important things we'll learn today, we'll talk about today, is like how do we use our dictionary? Because I think it's really important if you're learning a word to know where the word comes from. So let's look at that word hoop.
Hoop.
Hmm.
Hoop. Hoop.
Hoop. All right. So at the bottom, you'll always find this thing, origin of the word. Okay. So this is Old English. Is it really important? I kind of think it is. Okay. When the word follows, like if it's an English word, it comes from like English, it's gonna follow these rules a lot more. Okay. When it's from Spanish, you're gonna do something a little bit different. Okay. Um, and yeah, this is Oxford's Learner Dictionary. I like using this dictionary because it has lots of examples. You can see the origin of the word. Okay. And yeah, and especially now, if you since we're reading Animal Farm, we'll be reading a book. It's going to be important for you to use the dictionary, find the meaning, be able to find the meaning not just in your language, your first language, but being able to look up a word in English and understanding the meaning. Because what you want to be able to do is translate, to stop translating, is to just be able to think, the original thoughts in English. And I think in this advanced grammar class, in this advanced multi-skill class, that's where your target is to be able to find new words using English. Okay. Instead of always doing translation, from your original language, from your mother tongue to English. Yeah. All right. Let's check these answers. Let's start from the back and go our way around. Jason, number 2. Can you read that for me? Give me the answer. Ought to. Ought. Aw. Okay. So ought to, told us. So ought to, what is it also? What's it similar to? Should. Okay. So basically, Junichi told us we should have removed our shoes. Should have. Is this something that happened already, or is it happening now? Only because it's more formal. I think it's basically the same. I think when you hear it now, a lot of people don't use the word ought to anymore. It's or maybe British people. They say you ought to. Sounds very British to me. Um, so I think it would be a little bit stronger than should if somebody said that you ought to do this, you know. And where does should go on our thing, on our list of things, right? Should is like kind of on the level of advice. Okay, it's still stronger. It's not like a must, right? But when we talk about should or ought to, I don't know. If you go into someone's house, should you take off your shoes if that's the rule? No, you must, right? Or get out of my house. No. Do who? I don't want to make fun of Americans, but who doesn't take off their shoes in the house? Does everybody have? I don't want. No, never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna fight about. Uh, okay. So what's going on here? So did this happen already, or did it happen? Is it like a future event? Right. So it's something that happened already. How do we know that? So we can look at the past tense right here. This is past, right? Told us something that happened in the past. We ought to have, right? Ought to have done something. It's already been done, right? It's something that was a mistake that Junichi told them. Number 3, Mosen. Okay. Which one is it? You must do it, it's necessary, or you should? You have to pour into a little dish next to your plate. It's a must, right? You must do this. So have to and must have similar, the same meanings almost. Almost. I'm going to say they're interchangeable. Lots of books will tell you have to comes from outside, must comes from inside. Huh? I don't know. I always think must is stronger. But they're the word is they're interchangeable. Okay. And that means that you can use either one. Nobody's going to tell you, I hope not, nobody will tell you, you used it wrong. Whoops, you can't read that, can you? Hold on. I would say they're interchangeable, okay? And that means kind of like going to and will. If you use them, they're usually going to be very similar. Nobody's going to say, oh, they don't understand you, okay? You have to pour soy sauce into a little dish next to your plate. It means you must. I don't know. Should? Depending on what country you're from. I don't know. Number 4, Stephanie. Uh-huh. It was necessary for you to blow your nose. Yes, B. It was necessary for me. So did this happen already? Okay. So this is something that happened in the past. So we have a past tense. It was necessary for me to blow my nose. Good. Number 5, Yinglu. Okay, so something that is not acceptable is something, that people don't accept, right? It's something that maybe seems bad. You are not to blow your nose in public. We're using the present simple. When do we use present simple tense? Why do we use this present simple? It's something that always happens. Is it something that happened already? Is it? When do we use the present simple? What's like the number one thing I would say? What would be the word? For routines, right? Anything that's a routine is a habit or something. I say routines and habits when we use present simple, right? And so, yeah, this is considered a routine, right? Something that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do. You're not supposed to, you are not to blow your nose, right? And this is that question that Jason asked, right? So you are not to. What does it also equal? Supposed to, right? So you could also write this as you are not supposed. We don't say that D, okay? We always have the D on this word, okay? I think a lot of people say, is it supposed or supposed to? This, this, we call it, what do we call this? This auxiliary verb, it's always with the ed, okay? You make it present or you make it past by changing the UR, okay, the R. So you were not supposed to means it already happened, right? You are supposed to means like all the habits, all the different things that we're supposed to do. Number 6. Marlene. You could have. Which letter? B? Yeah. So you could have sniffled, right? Means that what? You didn't, right? Like it was like just like if you have to do something, you could have asked me, right? You could have gone to the bathroom whenever you need to. You didn't. And so, yeah, you could have. What do we talk about could have? Suggestions, right? You could do something, you might want to do something. We talked about this when we were talking about giving advice as well. So you could have, you could take some chocolates, you might send, right? These are in the present. These are these routines, habits. You could have is something that happened in the past, right? So these are past events. Oops. Past events. You might have offered to help clean up. Did this person help? No, right? This is something you might say to your partner if they didn't do something. You could have helped me, right? You could have offered something. You could have washed the dishes. Instead, you were, I don't know, watching TV or something like that. Number 7. Ferește. Is it had we better? What does hadn't mean? It should be A. So they're asking a question, right? Like a suggestion. Hadn't we better leave a tip? Shouldn't we leave a tip? And did it happen already? Not yet, right? Okay. Let's look at that one. It's advice. Okay. You had better do something. You had right. You'd better run to class. It's not in the past. We don't say you had better. Yeah, you had better. You had better do something. You where's that? I'm so confused. Should be here, no? Shall you ought to oh, it's warnings. Okay. Had better is similar to should and ought to, but stronger. Weed, right? Oftentimes that had disappears. It becomes just a d. We'd better go or we'll be late. I think you're going to hear that more than we had better go. We'd better go. Yeah. We'd better do something. You'd better go to sleep or else, right? It's kind of a warning. It's stronger than advice like should. You should go to sleep, right? I think when you hear should, it's like you can do it, you don't have to. You had better almost feels like a command, right? Like a warning, could also be a threat. In questions, we usually use had better in the negative. Hadn't you better avoid talking about politics? Shouldn't you avoid? Shouldn't you avoid talking about politics during dinner? Do you guys avoid politics during dinner? You have to? It's a must? It's an obligation now? Only with strangers, but with friends and family, it's okay? It depends. Yeah, I don't think my friends like me talking about politics anymore, so. I've realized that I don't agree with most people on many things anymore. Marjorie, number 8. Tips are not expected. You're not supposed to. So it's something that's not expected. Expectations equals suppose. Number 9. Susanna. B. What is B? That would be the right thing to do. So you ought to is advice, similar to should. That would be the right thing to do. And number 10, Yibin.
Shall we invite Marcel, Yuki, and Yukiko out for dinner? Do you think we should ask them to go out?
Yeah, so when you're asking shall, you're asking the possibility, right? Do you think we should ask them to go out for dinner? It's not, do you think they will go out to dinner? What would you ask? Do you think that they'll go? I don't know. All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes at 10:30-ish, and we'll move on to something. No, we'll finish these. Go! I'm going to do 14. No, I can't steal your line. There.
I checked yesterday the last assignment.
Yeah.
I didn't press send.
Okay.
I didn't know, but I don't.
I think I saw.
Let's jump for you.
Yeah. I saw.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Sorry, that date, I think I should move it to Wednesday, so.
Yeah, just let you know.
Okay. Don't worry if your assignments are late. I don't.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it means had.
Yeah.
Had better. It talks about the past.
Yeah.
So when we are
No.
no
No. So even though it looks past,
I mean that it's something advice.
yeah, but it has nothing to do with,
Advice.
yeah,
Advice to do something
yeah,
past.
right.
And
You,
it was better to do this, you know?
no,
No?
no. So it just means like the same as should have, should, we'd better, should, we should go.
We should go.
Yeah, but stronger. So this would be almost the same as we should go.
Now, is it correct?
Yeah, so
You have better to go.
to go. Yeah.
Ah,
So it's correct.
it's correct.
So whenever we use, let's say, any of these, right, it's going to be had, better,
Had
and then plus verb 1. So it's whenever we use modals, whenever we use,
my concern is about when somebody talk about this had better.
can we say it in the past?
They're talking about the past.
No.
That the finished, action in the past.
No, it's like talking about like now, it's like a routine thing. Or it's giving advice, like if I was giving you advice, but it's not something you did in the past. It's like right now, even though I know it looks past, right? So the term had better is just like should.
You can use it for, present, present tense.
Only, yeah.
You have better to go.
Right. We had better to go. It's almost like a command, like go, go now. We had better go. You should go.
Okay.
I think, yeah,
Meaning.
it's the same.
Same meaning.
This is stronger.
That one is stronger.
Stronger than,
You have to go.
right. You have to go would be even stronger.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to go stronger than that one.
Yeah. You have to go
Yeah.
is a command almost,
Yes.
I think, yeah, the strongest thing would just say, go.
Go.
If your teacher was like, you should do your homework, you'd better do your homework. Now it's like you're late, it's getting later. You have to do your homework means like if you don't do it, you might fail the class or something. And then last I would say, do your homework, right? And this is like right now at the moment. You're welcome. Can we do this in the past? We had better. We had a better had gone. No. We should have. Can you use this in the past? You can't use this in the past. Hmm.
I don't know what's happened to her. We don't pay attention, but I always teach my son if you go out, you need to spend 20% off on the tip because they need it.
Yeah.
I know how that work because I have my other son who was working on the service and my sister too. So my son said, okay, we give that 20% with almost without cash. And after that, when Kiki heard the cash, she said, oh, do you need anything extra? Can I bring you something? Get me something. But us, like Latinos, and maybe they don't want to give cash or they don't want to give us, they don't want to let me like something. But when we give her the tips, even if she wasn't great, she was totally changed. Very appreciated. She was very happy. Let me see how about that.
Maybe. I mean, there's this thing. It's a stereotype that like certain people, brown and black people, don't tip, and so there's this like stereotype of people. They're like, oh, they don't tip. Don't give them good service. I just. I know. So I think that's what happened. No.
I feel like that sometimes, like sometimes you feel some places you feel like a little discrimination because people think you don't really understand anything that they say.
Right.
But I believe like maybe they have a bad day, maybe something happened, maybe someone make feeling a little more beautiful the day.
Right.
So
Showing flow.
how they feel.
I know.
Good.
I mean, my advice is I just give the same amount every time. I try not to say this person did better. This. Yeah.
But sometimes when people are very, very, very nice, yeah, we give a lot.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think the new thing. So I went out with people during this conference for a week, and there was parties of 10 or 20 people. Right. What did they do now? They put on a 20% service charge now. They add the what's the other word for tip?
More than 6 people is out of money.
Right. What's another word for tip? So you said more than 6 people now. Do you see this on your bill? Do you get the paper? Okay, one thing is service charge. It doesn't mean tip though. Service charge. There's another word that you'll find. It's gratuity. And what does this mean? It means that gratitude word, right? If you're grateful, you'll give somebody something. If you look at your bill, okay, before you pay anything, look at it, and if it says like gratuity 20% included, it'll put this. That means that because you had 6 people or more, or 10 people or more, whatever their policy is, they add the tip already. Okay? And my friends didn't read it. And I was like, hey, did you check the bill? And they're like, no. And I was like, are you going to tip more? You know? Because they already charged us like $7 or $8 for tip. She wrote $8. I said, hey, was it really good service? And she was like, oh, whoops, I didn't read it. Okay. So, and the waitress, I feel like they should tell you, like, hey, there's a party of 10, before we begin. I know they don't want to because they still want more. I get it, I get it. But I think somewhere they should tell you. They didn't tell any of us. And I think for like the whole week, every time I went out for dinner, nobody told us, but it was always there. So make sure you check your bill. And if it says gratuity, 20% included, and you'll see the number, then is it expected? Should you tip more? I mean, if you want, right? You could tip more if it's really good. But it's your money, and I think times are tough, and we should be saving money. All right, Manuela. So what? Blank. If you're satisfied. So what should you leave? What should you do if you're satisfied, should you do? We already said, should you leave? Should you do? If you're satisfied, you should tip the waiter between 15 and 20%. 15 is the usual. I think it used to be the usual. I think 20% seems to be the usual. Will they like not let you come back if you don't tip 20%? Will they remember you? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. If it's someplace that, I mean, here's my other advice: go to a restaurant that you know the people, that you care about the person, that you know their name. You say, hey Joe, it's good to be here again today. Go to the same restaurant, make it a family business, make it a small business. Don't go to a chain. And then like when you give that money, you're like, you know where it's going, you know. That's my advice: is eat local, eat like small business restaurants. Don't go to these chains, you know, and then tip with cash, because they take the money and they get the money. They take it home. Even like coffee. When I worked at a coffee shop, yeah, it was nice getting cash. We just divided it. I took the money home, and you could go out at night. Okay. Jane, you should tip the waiter between 15 as usual. Okay. Now here's another question I'm confused about. What you're supposed to do if you're sitting at a lunch counter instead of at a table. So what's the lunch counter mean? What do you, like a buffet? I would say it's like the bar, right? So like if you're at a diner, not at like a table, but you're like right there, do the tip. Yeah. Somebody. Right. Okay. Right. So it's like closer. Okay. So this is the question. You're sitting at a lunch counter instead of a table. Number 10. Anything for that person behind the counter? Ought, should you? Should you leave anything? There's a lot of should you leave, huh? Should you leave anything for the person behind the counter? It's a nice gesture. Why do you ask? Yesterday I had lunch at a cafeteria counter. Okay, I get what this is. So like you go to a cafeteria, and you take your food on your tray, and you get the thing, and then you pay for the thing. So there's a person behind that gives you food. I think it's not like at a diner. Um, the waitress was really nice and polite. I felt like 11 ought to have given her something. What else did you have? What could we change this into? Could have left her something. That works too, right? I just think that ought to would. Yeah, so for this context, and you can always say should have given, right? So ought to, we can change it. We can always make it should have given something. Did you? No. Well, so this is where there's a suggestion, right? Well, blank something. What do? You could have left. Okay? So again, this is what we use when we make a suggestion about something. It's nothing, you don't have to do this. 5 to 10%. Oh, okay. Next time I will. Let me check the definition of a lunch counter. Hold on. Lunch counter. No. I would definitely, that's the same. Like if you're at a count, like, it's the same. I don't think this is different than being at a restaurant or sitting at your own table. I mean, the waiter is not coming over to you. And usually at this situation, um, there's like the same person that's doing all of it. No, I would leave the same. I wouldn't say 5 to 10. I would say the same. If you're gonna tip, then tip. Um, but have you any been to a restaurant like this in like New York, or been to any? Has anybody been to like a diner, a restaurant like this, where you sit at the counter, the lunch counter? Yeah, a lot of delis do that. Okay, let's see how much time we have. All right. So any advice, any things about tipping? I mean, you can be honest. Just like what don't you like? I mean, I don't like it. I didn't have to tip in Turkey. I did, and my friends thought I was crazy, but I was just like, it's nice. Anytime anybody like, I give tips to anybody who does something like, so if there's the parking guy. Do you give tip to the parking people? Yeah, if they like, or valet, right? You're kind of expected. Um, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like the gesture matters or the amount. Which one matters more? Doing it or like that you gave them $20? Just doing it. Yeah, I agree. My advice for weddings. Anybody go to weddings with like, let's say, open bars or something like that? If you go to a place and there's like free something, it's all you can eat or drink. My advice, if you have like a big party of people, I always like tip like big, like $20 at the beginning of the night. It's like the first thing I do, and I make eye contact and I just say hi. And for the rest of the night, they just treat you really well. So that's my advice. If you ever go to like a wedding and like it's an open bar and you don't have to pay for anything, my advice is still to pay them because you'll get like extra things by the end of the night. That's my advice. Have you ever done that? Yeah. And what happened? One time I was at a wedding and like at the end of the wedding after 3 or 4 hours, we needed a bottle opener or something, and the guy just said, "Here, take it." And I said, "Cool, thanks." But I don't know. I don't like to think that money makes the world go round, but I think trying to be nice to people, you get something back. And if it's money, it's money. Okay, let's do this on Wednesday. Let's switch over. Did I give everybody this? Did everybody get this essential? Okay, if you didn't, I have some papers. Everything is we does anybody need one? You forgot it? Okay. I have 7 of them. No, no. This is different. All right. Save it. Do you have one? Okay. All right. Why are we doing this? Okay, so these are academic words. I think this is really important. We're gonna slowly do this. I want you to know these words. Is somebody gonna ever take the SAT? Anybody gonna go to college, like university? What's the SAT? Your children will have to do this, or it's an exam to go from what? To college. University, right? So junior year or senior year, you take this test. A lot of these words, will be on those tests. So yeah, this is part of what we call the academic. Hold on. Where do I go? There's home. Okay. So all of these words we'll find on this thing called the academic word list. Okay. If we look up the academic word list, 570 words. Can we find them all? No, it's a bad one. Yeah. Give me the list. Come on. All right. So these are all the words. There's 570 of them. Yeah, and if you take like any other test like TOEFL or IELTS, these words will also be there. These are the most common out of those. These are the next most common. And as you keep going down, they get more and more and more uncommon and more difficult. So, violation, supplementary. Is it important that you know all of these? I mean, if you're going to be studying, you're going to see them. Okay. Do you need to use it in a sentence? Someday, not always, right? But I need to make a thing, but there are words that you're gonna see all the time that you're gonna use all the time, right? The most common words, right? There are some words that you will use in special circumstances that you should know, that you should be able to think of, right? There's gonna be words that you will use once in your life, okay? That you'll read once in your life, you'll forget, but you'll kind of have a feeling about them. You'll like, I know it, I can't spell it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like, I don't know, this word right here. You might not be able to pronounce it, but you have a feeling of what it means, right? So what does in usually mean? Yeah, something that's inside of you, right? So this word actually means like something inside of you. Intrinsic motivation would be that like you are motivated by something that you want, right? And the difference, what's the opposite of this word? Is it on here? What do you think the opposite would be? I know, but how do we make how do we make how do we what's the prefix for out? X. So say this word with extrinsic. So extrinsic motivation would be motivation that comes from outside. So if you've ever like had to study something, okay, you saw this word, you know that in means inside, you know that X means outside, okay, and you're gonna know that, and that's gonna help you, right? So this word basically means that yeah, something is inside you that is making you do something. Intrinsic motivation, let's call it. Then the extrinsic is like your mom wants you to do something, and so you say, "Yes, mom, I'll go to college," right? Or your professor wants you to do something, right? This is what we want, But and when you see this word, you're not going to be able to spell it. You're not going to like magically say it anytime you want. But when you see it, something will come to your brain. Okay. That's like the bottom level of vocabulary. Okay. Really difficult words that we use once. And we're going to see a lot of those words in this book, which is falling apart because it smells like an old book. Ah, beautiful. Okay. So let's go back to this. I want you to read this. Have we read this already? A little bit. Okay. I want you to read this. There are certain words that are under or that are bold. Okay. Figure out the meanings. And don't worry if you don't understand it all. We're going to go through it. We're going to learn the vocabulary and context. Reading comprehension. What did I write? Subject is subject. So let's generate dependent clause. Oh, so many weird words. Okay, and if you're finished reading that, go and do the next page, which is vocabulary and context. Okay, and a lot of words have synonyms, right? Synonyms are words with the same meanings, which will help you. Okay, so instead of always learning maybe the translation in your first language, sometimes it's good to know another word that has a similar meaning that you already know. Okay, so we're building upon our vocabulary knowledge by connecting words in our brains to different things. Just all the lines. And we're also talking about the context, right? So it's not just the meaning, but the meaning in the reading. So the word like interpretation, interpreter, what do we think about when we think about the word interpreter? Translation, okay? Does it have the same meaning here? No. Okay. So an interpreter is somebody who stands there and maybe does the sign language or, is speaking the language. You have an interpreter. But this word interpretation in line 6, if you look at line 6, does it mean translation? It could mean explanation, right? To interpret something, right? But yeah, that word interpreter usually means translator or something. But it could also be somebody doing sign language. So if you see those speeches where it's fun, when they're rapping and the guy's like, and they're just dancing. Well, part of it is that the face has to be, right? Like interpreters, they have to like show emotion as well. It's very cool. Taking that away. All right, before we read, we'll go back to the reading. Let's check some of these answers. Let's jump around. Roxanne, number 1 is done for us. Approach equals method. I'm going to say that method is stronger than approach. So approach can be more general, and a method would be more specific. Okay? They mean the same thing. They mean a way of doing something, right? So I have a method of making yogurt, right? And my approach for cooking is natural and kind of, homemade organic things. I don't know. B, Roxana, what's the another word in this context when we're reading this? Proof. Okay, so proof is another word for like evidence. You have proof of something. What else does proof mean? What's another meaning for proof? What do you do with bread? Anybody cook bread? Make bread? Huh? Waterproof. Okay, we can see that word in other things. Something is bulletproof against something, like resistant to. Okay, but yeah, here it means evidence. Letter C. Well done. Sorry. Oh, what? Yeah, the thing about making bread. Anybody make bread? Bake bread, yeast. Proofing is when you like put the bread in the oven just for a little bit, and it like firms up a little. Then you take it out. Yeah. There's like lots of like what? It's another word. You can see this word, and it's like raising, right? Proofing bread. My friends are bakers, so they're always telling me crazy things. It's when you make it kind of rise. How to proof bread when it's cold outside. You want it to rise, the yeast and everything. You put it in the oven, but like very low temperature. It's a word that you might see now that like baking bread. Why? What happened?
No, we say that grows. We use grows. That's what I'm asking.
It's like very specific to bakeries, right? So, proofing. So yeah, this is an important word. We call it. Do you guys know the word jargon? Jargon. Sorry. So jargon is like, if you are a baker, you're going to have very specific words that nobody else uses, right? If I'm a teacher of English, ESL, I have very like a jargon when we talk about, communicative learning. I go to the conference and we say words like SEL. Do you know what SEL means? No, it means social emotional learning. So my occupation, my field of study there's like special words, right? Military people have a special words for things. Doctors have special words for things. If you, and this is usually about business, so let's call this like business words, business related. Okay. So jargon. A lot of these things are jargon, like proofing bread. Um, sorry, Ladan, get to advantage, right? So anything that we see benefits, something that's a positive, right? We're connecting those things. Sissy, D, concepts. Is meanings? Ideas. Idea. That's a weird one. It doesn't follow our rules. Idea. 3 syllables. Okay. Concepts are, yeah, usually something. If you have a concept or an idea, that usually is consistent. Or Yuji, E. Explanation, right? So in the reading, it says an interpretation of available data, data being information, right? We're not translating it because we're not changing languages or anything like that. We're just trying to explain what this data means. Anybody like into data? Mitra, letter F. Is a building? Okay, so it can be a building, right? The word structure, like there's a structure, it's blah blah blah. Like a building would be this actual physical building. Another word is like the structure of the human body, right? Doesn't mean a building, but it means like how it's put together. So an arrangement, how to arrange something in a specific order. If we look at the reading, whoa, go back. Come on, match. It's line 8. Cooperative learning takes a variety of forms, but the structure of most cooperative learning involves small teams, right? So that's how we arrange it. We put it into groups of 3 or 4 people or something like that. Right, but that word also has this meaning of like a physical built, like this building that we're in or something like that. So you could build something, but when we say the word building, we usually mean like a physical place that we go into, right? G involves Lourdes. Okay, that's fine. Taraj, do you have? Take a guess. Involves. Includes. Okay. Usually involves something. It involves, a team. It involves money, right? It includes. You're not inviting. It could also have the meaning of participate, but this one's going to be includes. H. It's good. Movement, a role, a part. Okay, and a role is like, if you're on a team, then you are part of a team. Your part is to do this, right? And that part. Wow. What's the verb for part? What does part mean when we use the verb? Does anybody know? Part. No, just as a verb. The verb for part would be. Part means to like split things up. I'm going to part. Like if you've read the Bible, Moses parts the Red Sea. Yeah, he splits it apart, right? Part. So like you can part something. But yeah, so part means like each section, right? Because If I part something, I actually am like dividing it into little pieces here. So this part is a noun, right? And it means the same as this roll word. Okay. Even I period duration, right? Is it a punctuation mark? It can be. I mean, the word period can be, right? We have many different, this word period. What's another definition of the word period? Women's menstrual cycle. Yeah, I've been hearing stories about this all week long. Well, yeah, so this word has many different meanings, right? And they're trying to fool you, but here we're talking about a particular time. So let's look at 10 just to make sure that everything is okay. Blah, 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 towards a similar goal in which each person assumes a specific role in the process over a period of time, right? So the duration of something. Whoops, that's bread. Okay, significant. J, Izumi. Important. Okay. Whenever you see the word significant, you guys know this word, right? No? So something is significant. It, it means important. Relevant. Would it be relevant? No. Something like, yeah, relevant, important. Relevant meaning that it's important to you, right? So this is a what? What part of speech is this? Is it an adjective and a verb? This is an adjective, right? Okay. How do we make this into a noun? So any of those words so remember, so the word important is what part of speech? It's important is an adjective, right? How do we make that into a noun? Do you know? Okay, so same thing with this one. Significance. So a lot of times when you see these words that end with the ANT, okay, their nouns are going to be with the CE at the end, so significance. Okay, so if you want to repeat after me, significant. Okay, significance. Okay, that's the only difference between using it as an adjective. Okay, so this is a significant research, right? For this one? No, it's okay. It's one of the things that being a teacher, you can't think on the spot. Word friends, word unscrambled letters. Nope. Words with. Oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, independent. Yeah, even ENT. Yeah, well, you guys help me. Independent. What's another one? Whoops, independence. Okay, another one. Anybody? Is there a lot of these? Yeah. I think that word you're thinking is signification. I would say that the noun would be signify. To like point to something, to make it a signal almost. I don't know if it's it wouldn't be exactly, but the word would be signify. And that means to show you that something is important. Yeah, signify. Okay, let's do that. So if you signify something, you're signaling, just like a traffic signal. You're telling me something is important, right? When you see a traffic signal, it's telling you something is important. Shayla, K. For variations, let's look. All right, so number 16, analysis of the cooperative approach have identified several significant factors and variables that indicate a formula for successful cooperative learning to occur. Okay. Varieties. I feel like it's the same thing, isn't it? Variations are different types of things. Varieties are Hold on, let me look at that again. Got stumped. Have identified several significant factors and variables. So a variable is something that changes in math. So that number x is a variable, okay, and variable equals something. I'm going to say the better answer is variations, okay? So like you can change something. A variable would be like the size of something. If you're doing an experiment, or the temperature of something. This one's hotter than this one's colder. We're going to test this variable, okay? All right. We got 5 minutes. We're not going to get to Animal Farm. I'm sorry about the projector today. Put a check mark next to each statement that is an effective strategy for successful cooperative learning, and tell me where it came from if you can. Actually, sorry. No, let's read this. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Okay, I want you to think about the things that make up cooperative learning. We got like 4 minutes, and then we'll leave. Thank you for your patience today. Cooperative learning. The cooperative learning approach has become popular among college professors because it helps students reach high academic standards and build positive relationships in the classroom. What are standards? Expectations, right? Yeah, your standards for doing something. My standards in the classroom are that you come to class with all your materials and that you work effectively. After many years of theoretical, what does theoretical mean? Not practical. What's the another word that sounds just like theoretical? Theory, right? Yeah. Hold on. So the word theory. Okay. Everything just blew up. Theory. So theory becomes theoretical. What happened to my iPad? There we go. Never know what happened. Okay. And practical research on this issue. So practical versus theoretical, right? Practical is something you can do. Theory is usually about like different ideas, right? Concepts. Okay. And practical research on this issue. Strong evidence shows that cooperative methods can have major benefits for students learning through increased learning, better understanding of the concepts being taught, and improve retention of the materials. What does retention mean? Does any to what? To keep, right? So when you retain something, anybody have when they're kids that retainer in their teeth? It keeps your teeth from moving. Okay, if you retain something, it means that you keep something. Why do we use the word retainer instead of just keeps? It's an academic word, right? So the same idea with jargon, like people will use this word when we're talking about like science and medicine. So like if your body keeps a lot of water, what do we call this? Water retention. Do you know this? Okay. So yeah, if your body is like, if you feel bloated during different times because of illness or, I don't know, monthly things, your body will retain water. So we call it water retention. So if you ever go to the doctor and they say, you're retaining a lot of water, okay, they'll use that word. They won't say that your body is keeping lots of water inside of it, right? It'll use those words. Okay, let's finish the sentence and then we'll go. In addition, an interpretation of available data suggests, okay, so the interpretation is explaining this information that we have, okay, suggests that cooperative learning encourages positive relationships among team members of different racial and economic backgrounds, okay. So there's like studies that show that research teams that are mixed with men, women, people from different countries tend to have more, what do you call it, citations. So like whenever there's an article and it's really important, more people will use it in their research, okay? So they find that in studies that groups of people that have more diversity, sorry, the word diversity, there's more, it becomes a better paper. Okay, we'll finish this on Wednesday. We'll finish everything. We'll talk about Animal Farm. Sorry, thank you so much for today. It's a little catching up day. So have a great day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. I didn't.